Sideload, where getting a new case for your old phone is almost as good as getting a new phone. I'm your host, Will Sattelberg. This week, I'm joined by Ara Wagoner, my former co-host on the Android Please podcast, to talk all things accessories. Ara is, in my mind, a leading authority on every sort of case and screen protector and pop socket and anything with a magnet on it that you'd ever want to buy. And I'm really excited to dive into talking about the current state of Android accessories, especially ahead of Black Friday, which when this episode is dropping is 4 days away. So welcome to the show, Ara. It's great to have you here.
It is so nice to be on a podcast again. Thank you for this. I've missed this so much.
Oh, it's been so long. We spent over half an hour catching up before this, just on the phone, talking about where we've been in our respective careers and what's been new with us. So it really is an AP well, when we had Daniel Bader on a month or two ago, and now we have you on. So we got to get Jules, and then that'll complete the square, I guess. I was going to say trifecta, but it's four people. Yeah. So let's start here. What's your biggest piece of advice for people? Let's just get that right off the table.
If you're looking to buy an accessory for somebody, I will say, unless you know that they need one, stay away from like wall chargers and power banks, because they're both things that it seems like everybody needs. But I'm speaking of somebody who has like 20 different power banks in my apartment. I forget where they are half the time. I tend to only use the ones that I either the ones that I paid for or I asked PR companies for. So unless you know that they have a specific need for it, I would stay away from the chargers themselves. Cables are okay because cables are something that people wear through every now and again. But chargers themselves, I would say, unless you know they have a specific need for them, it's going to end up being a waste of money. And if it's a battery that you're putting into their house, and that just means that's one more thing that can bloat and potentially cause problems.
Yeah, well, we've seen certain batteries. I feel like especially the last year or two, we've seen a lot of external battery packs get recalled by companies that you've never heard of, or companies as big as and I'd have to double check to make sure. I don't want to throw Anchor.
Times in the last 2 years.
Exactly. Yeah. So it happens. You're going to run into spaces where you might need to return that external battery, and it's probably best if you bought it and not somebody else, so that they're keeping they don't have to keep an eye on it.
Well, and the craziest thing is, for most of those, it's not a matter of returning. It's a matter of, please, you need to safely dispose of it, which means finding somebody that will take battery packs or take the lithium ion things inside of them. So,
and I can tell you that's annoying. I have had to do it. Depending on the state of the battery, you can sometimes drop it off at Home Depot, but not always. And it's going to kind of depend on your state laws too. So it's and if you can't go to that, and you can't do, Best Buy, I think actually doesn't take them at all anymore. So then you end up having to just look up local. Do they still?
Best Buy, I think, will pay to take some of them, but they won't do it for free. I know that Best Buy has very limited things that they will do for free these days, outside of products that that were their specific insignia brands. Yeah,
and if you can't take it to a big box store like that, you end up having to just kind of find a local electronics recycling center, which also might put you, you might have to pay for that service as well, or they'll have, almost universally, they will have terrible hours. You're going to have to either wake up early on a Saturday or, take some time off during the week to go do it. And it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no, I really need to be paying closer attention to when the local county has its electronics recycling day, because it'll be a specific day, usually a weekday, because the landfill here isn't open on the weekends. But yeah, no, I have so much that I probably need to go through at this point, because if my phone is bulging, I'm sure there's at least 2 or 3 other things in my apartment that are.
For the audio listener, Ara has held up her Galaxy S23, which we were of course talking about in the pre-show. It has a bulge in it already, despite being less than 3 years old. Yeah, it's not great. So you are of course rocking that Pixel 7 life, which I think puts you in an interesting boat, right? Because we talked a little bit about Qi2 in the pre-show. Qi2, kind of the big story with the Pixel 10 this year. I think Google would tell you it's Gemini, but from a hardware perspective, it is certainly the addition of Qi2. Yeah.
I was gonna say Gemini is nice. Pixelsnap or Qi2 is something that regular people are actually going to like notice and use.
Oh, 100%. I've actually been, and maybe you're going to tell me that I shouldn't be surprised by this, but I have been surprised by how excited people get about magnetized accessories. It's like not a thing. Like I'm talking like not tech people, like just normal people, like even if they don't use every function on their phone, once you show them that, like, you know, whether they have an iPhone or they've picked up a Pixel 10 or they have just a magnet case for their Galaxy S25, like people get really excited once they realize not just that you have these tools, but like how many things you can stick to your phone.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, like, okay, my Pixel 7 is right here. I currently have a pop socket on it. And the pop socket is great for just like holding in my hand. But if I want to like prop my phone up, pop sockets as kickstands are terrible outside of like maybe trying to use it horizontally to watch video. But most of the time when I'm propping my phone up, I'm putting it in vertical mode because I'm either reading something or I'm playing some kind of a game. And for adhesive phones, if I picked the pop socket, I couldn't switch anything out without either switching the case or pulling off the adhesive and putting it back on. But being able to just pull this off, grab my kickstand accessory, and slide that on just makes life so much easier. And then at the end of the night, it's just pull,
switch it back out,
pop on my charger, and go to bed.
Good to go.
Especially because it means that at like 2 a.m. when I'm groggy as hell, I don't have to worry about the case. Well, I do have to because now I have a Pixel 7 with a 4-year-old battery, and I have an S23 with a 3-year-old battery. So I don't feel quite as safe using wireless magnetic charging overnight with either one of those, considering these are both just MagSafe cases and not MagSafe phones, which is part of why having Qi2 built in is so freaking important for the power side of it.
Well, and to me, and let me pick your brain on this. To me, the addition of Qi2 in the Pixel 10, which is not the first Qi2 phone, but certainly the first like mainstream Qi2 phone, like the first one that, like, especially in the US or in North America in general, like the first Android device that people are going to buy that supports Qi2 natively, that has these magnetic alignments in them. To me, that this tells me that it's here to stay. Like this is going to come to most other phones in the next, let's be generous, 5 years, right? I think it's going to be slow for every OEM, even though there's not that many left really to pick up. But like we just saw the launch of like the OnePlus 15, that phone does not have any magnets in it, despite the fact that it ships with magnetic, or you can get it with a magnetic case. So like, you know, we're seeing companies like that.
I understand why OnePlus is doing that though. And I understand why Samsung did like magnetic accessories but on the magnetic phone this year. I'm happy to see it built in next year. But the thing about building the magnets in is you're committing your phone to only using magnetic wireless charging. Because once you put the magnets in the phone, that phone is no longer compatible with standard wireless charging pads because the magnets will be in the middle and those can overheat.
Interesting. I don't know if I knew that because I have a couple.
I've heard of it happening. I definitely heard of it happening. I don't know if it's as widespread. I just know that it's one of those things of whenever you look up, if you go to any wireless charger like listing page on Amazon, it'll say like compatible with like iPhone 12 and older, or it'll say like iPhone 13 and newer, and that's the MagSafe line.
Got it. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's always going to be hit or miss anyway. Like I have you know, to your point, actually. So I think it's going to be hit or miss because I have a wireless, not magnetic wireless charging stand on my desk that does work with my Pixel 10, no problem. But my truck has a wireless charging pad in it that if it works fine with any phone that doesn't have a magnet in it.
Yeah. Especially for things like trucks, they've had to build in extra like safety precautions because otherwise anything metal that gets dropped in there is going to just turn into a heat sink.
Constantly looking for metal. It will tell me what'll happen is it'll start to charge either any iPhone, the Pixel 10, anything with magnets. If I'm using the OnePlus 15 with its magnetic case on it, it'll charge for 10 seconds and then it'll detect metal. It'll think that I have keys in there or coins, something, and it'll tell me to remove. It'll stop charging, tell me to remove the metal.
For an object. Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because I think about this and I'm like, okay, in the US, which is, my truck is made by Chevy, and in the US where Chevy is like predominantly selling, that most people have like iPhones, have like a recent, and like at this point we're looking at like 5-6 years of iPhones with MagSafe support. So it's, I guess I'm late to this frustration because of the Pixel 10. But to me, it's like, wouldn't you want to design this truck that you're selling in the United States to like support the phones that most people have? Because unless they have and even then, I don't think it works particularly well. But
it doesn't work particularly well with non-magnetic
case.
trucks.
Yeah, exactly. It's so frustrating because to me, you should want this to work with as many devices as possible.
Well, the thing there is also that when they're designing these cars of like, oh, this is going to, they start designing these cars like 2 or 3 years before they get launched, which means they're working with older versions of technology. But like, I mean, I have a 2018 Honda CR-V. There are 2 USB ports in that car. They're both USB-A, despite the fact that USB-C was already well into being a thing in 2018. One of them is 12 watts and the other one is 10. And that was a like almost $40,000 crossover in 2019. And when I was in last time I took my Honda in for a oil change, I was looking in the new cars and I saw the magnetic charging things. And the first thing I looked for and was thankful for was that I saw the pad, and then immediately I saw the power button next to it to just turn it off completely. So I don't have to worry about that.
I have not looked for a way to turn off the charging pad in my truck, and I really should, because it really doesn't charge any of like
power.
Yeah, it's just, well, it's not even that. It's also the pop-up message that appears when it errors out when it's charging is really annoying because it covers up a good chunk of the screen. And so I should just look to see if I can turn that off. I had not thought about it. I love your point about these companies building trucks several years in advance, or vehicles several years in advance, and how that can interfere with the design or the utility of it. Because so I went from, and this is going to sound like such a leap, but basically I have leased the last 3 vehicles I own because I just don't drive very much, but I still have to have a car because we live in the United States. Yeah. And so I went from a 2022 Chevy Colorado to a 2024 Chevy Colorado. That doesn't sound like a big upgrade, but the 2022 was a previous, like they refreshed it, complete refresh in 2023.
It was a previous generation.
Yes. So I actually got, and basically I went from buying like a late 2022 model to like a really late 2024 model at the start of this year. That 2022 model though also had a wireless charging pad. I assume had the same issue with magnets. I wouldn't know because despite it being a 2022 model year, the space for the wireless charging pad was so small. I never found a single phone that fit on it. It was even like the standard iPhones, which are not that big, did not fit on it. The only thing was clamshell phones. That was it.
That's your answer right there. That's why people didn't realize the thing sooner. It's because only the small phones, which would be either older or cheap, were the ones that could fit in there.
Oh, terrible. It sucks because it, in theory, especially combined with wireless Android Auto, I should never have to keep a cable on that truck again, really. I mean, unless I'm going on like a long road trip. But if I'm just,
I was going to say, if you're driving for more than like an hour, you should plug in.
I think I got this truck in February, and I think I can count on certainly 2 hands how many times I've drove it, for more than an hour without getting to my destination first. Like there's been, at least 3 road trips, but largely speaking, it's been mostly just, we're the farthest I'm going is 50 minutes, and that'll be fine for wireless. But yeah, it's a bummer.
Does the 2024 have USB-C is the real question.
It does. I cannot remember off the top of my head right now if it's 2 USB-C or 1 USB-C and 1 USB-A, but it does have at least 1 USB-C, and that's the only cable that I really use. It's
Which is nice, because I mean, like, even
yeah.
if it's a low, like, even if it's only like 15 watts or something, being able to just use a USB-C cable the way you do for everything else instead of having to dig out a USB-A cable is just so convenient.
Yeah. I don't know. It's nice. Like I've gotten really used to like having wireless Android Auto always ready to go, but like I don't know. Sometimes the in-dash entertainment system of modern vehicles can be a little bit more frustrating than I want it to be. It's just a bummer that I like think back and I'm like, oh man, like my 2019 Terrain is probably the best like entertainment system experience I've had, because it was like the first time I had, Android Auto built in, but then it didn't have some of the more annoyances of like the last two trucks I had. And so frustrating. That's obviously not part of the accessories conversation, but
I mean, it kind of is.
It sort of is. Yeah.
Connecting to any infotainment system in a car is essentially making the car the accessory. Which feels weird considering it's so much more expensive than the phone. But I mean, like in my case, it actually is literally an accessory thing because my 2019 did not come with wireless Android Auto, so I use a Motorola MA1, which also makes it very handy to switch between wired and wireless on trips because it's just yank the
you just unplug the thing and
and then slide it over and stick in the actual cable.
That is better than I just have to keep a cable in the storage.
Well, I always just have
driver's
cable. Yeah. I always just keep a cable in there. Like if the USB-A cable isn't plugged into the Android Auto port, it's plugged into the other one just so that way it's a trickle charge, but it's something to keep it from dying because wireless Android Auto just burns more battery than wired does. So it's a bigger stress on your phone.
This is a device I was very mixed on overall, or like mixed to positive, but you should get that OnePlus 15 because I'll tell you, you are not killing that thing. You could drive for a day on wireless Android Auto, and I don't think you would kill. It might be hot to the touch, but you're not killing that thing even with it tethered like that.
The OnePlus is the kind of phone that I would like to be like, okay, I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to go to the park, be at the park from rope drop until park closing, like post fireworks and everything, take pictures of everything and see whether or not I can kill this phone.
I really don't think you can. I
could probably do it playing Pokemon Go the whole day. But playing Pokemon Go for 12 hours would be enough to kill just about anything.
Maybe if you didn't touch a Wi-Fi network once and you had that thing in the Florida sun with that brightness all the way up, maybe you kill it in a full day of just using Pokemon Go. But you'd have to really push it. And again, that thing recharges in like 20 minutes or can get you like another day's worth of use in like 20 minutes of charging. So it doesn't really matter. It's
that's really tempting considering I'm in the market for a new phone now.
Okay, so let me ask you this. The perfect segue. You're looking for a new phone. How much does the accessory availability for that device shape the decision you make when you're buying something? Because the OnePlus 15, it's got its, OnePlus makes first party cases for it and those have magnets in it. So you have that selection. But if you're going to head up Amazon, you're going to find significantly less choice, even compared to Pixel, let alone compared to, Galaxy, and then especially compared to Apple.
15 this year, right?
15.
Okay. Because I'm definitely familiar, like having written case guides for a number of years, I'm familiar with there being fewer cases for OnePlus, but that had been changing over the last several years. So I'm happy to see that it's not nearly as sparse as it used to be. It's still slow to get here.
I haven't looked. Yeah, I honestly haven't really browsed.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of these are like no-name companies that are on here, but I see at least a couple of names that I would recognize having written so many case guides for less popular phones over the years. But it's not like you're not going to see a crap ton of like name brand cases for this phone. Although I would be surprised if somebody like Tudia or Ring-K or somebody didn't have cases for this phone.
And it's early too. Like this phone just. I actually don't even know if it's shipping yet because it got kind of tied up in the government shutdown of being certified, but it's very early days for this phone.
Yeah, no, and that's messing up a lot of accessory stuff too because so many of the smaller accessories, if it was a smaller company, if they didn't already have things worked out or couldn't like find somebody to cut through the red tape, they're basically in limbo.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, there's also a number of like not tech related, but small businesses that I'm like, oh, hey, it's time for me to get a new calendar. I'm gonna go. I head to that. I head to the website for the Spanish artist I almost always buy my calendar from, and at first I could check out with it, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait and see if there's anything else I want to buy. And when I went like a day and a half later, they were no longer shipping to the U.S. because of the tariff nonsense.
Oh my God.
And I've been waiting for 3 months for that to become an option again. And I just hear the same thing over and over whenever I try and go and buy something from a small business that's like art related or media related. It's just terrible.
Brutal.
Yeah.
That's brutal. Well, okay. So, so you're shopping. Are you looking for cases before you even pick a phone, or are you picking a phone and then shopping for cases?
Normally, I pick a phone and then I shop for cases. The reason that I'm different is because I have this.
Well, yeah. For the audio listener, Ara has held up a box of, God, 40 cases, maybe a lot of phone cases that you obviously have collected over the years.
Oh no, those all showed up in. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks in January, between December and January of 2024. Or December 23, January 24.
So those are all probably
for the S24.
Exactly what I was about to say. Yeah, that's so much.
Yeah, because I reviewed this. I reviewed the baby S24 for Android Police. That was the last thing I wrote before I was let go, and I had to send the phone back. But I still had all the cases, and I still have all the cases. And the S24 cases fit on the S25, which is part of why which is part of, but not a like primary reason that I'm considering buying the S25.
It's a unique case. It's a difficult case to match. So let me rephrase the question then. If you were giving advice to somebody shopping for or open to any kind of phone ahead of the holidays, they want to buy a phone on Black Friday, do you suggest they pick a device that will have a robust ecosystem of accessories, or do you kind of feel like even if it's something like a OnePlus where you are going to run into fewer options than a anything from Samsung, does it really matter as long as there's a first party option and maybe a couple third party options you want? Like, is it robust enough that most people are comfortable buying what they want regardless of accessory support?
I mean, so long as so long as a phone has cases made for it, most people will be fine, because most people buy a case when they first buy a phone, and then they don't buy a case again until they buy a new phone.
That's fair. Yeah,
unless they're
I guess I forget you and I are crazy, and we're like, I wasn't joking up front. It's like the amount of times I have bought a new case just to feel like I've refreshed the device I've been using for 6, 8, 12 months. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But I will also add a caveat to that, which is there are a number of people who are like not necessarily like tech savvy, but they know enough, but they've had mobile phones enough years, and it's like, okay, if an OtterBox isn't available for this phone, I probably shouldn't recommend it to them. Or if there's not a Spigen available for this phone, I probably shouldn't recommend it to them, because they're going to want their case.
Right.
Like my dad has used the same style of case on his phone for I think like 4 or 5 generations now, because it's a Spigen Rugged Armor.
I hadn't considered case loyal. Do you consider yourself loyal to any case makers, or are you kind of open to anything that catches your eye?
I'm loyal to case features, and then there are case companies that I have very much enjoyed in the past, and case companies that I always look forward to seeing new cases for. Okay. But it's also one of those things that it depends on whether or not they're actually going to release the case for the phone. Case in point, this is the poetic neon MagSafe version for the Galaxy S24. They didn't make this for the S25. They didn't make this for the S23. And for the S25, only the S25 Ultra got one of these. And it came in 2 colors. It came in black and it came in orange. Or actually, I think it was, black and then it was orange.
So it's just kind of, it's almost like a lottery. Yeah. Okay.
But it's also one of those things of how nitpicky are you going to be with your accessories? Because this case, part of why I liked it so much was because at the time this design wasn't super widespread yet, and now it is. Right. Of having the had the MagSafe ring like flat on the back of the phone, but it's on a hinge. That way you can, because this is the only way to get a. This is the only way to, like, with a pop socket, this is the only way to use the phone vertically, basically.
Right. Okay. Interesting. That's like an interesting combination of accessories. Yeah.
Well, and because with things like this will allow, part of why I really liked it was because since the ring itself was what folded down, so long as you had a round accessory on it, the accessory would just fold down with it and you wouldn't have to take it off the way that you do for like taking off the grip and putting on the kickstand.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, okay, let's use this as a jumping off point. Like,
yes.
Maybe getting away from Qi2, the spec, into Qi2, the actual accessories, right? All these magnetic accessories. What do you, I mean, I guess you've already kind of shown it, but do you have any like specific magnetic accessories that you've really fell in love with? Anything that you like want to call out to people? Because I feel like, not to monologue too much, but I think people maybe don't know just how deep the accessories hole can be for magnet. Like, there's obviously pop sockets and stands and so on, but like you can get some pretty unique stuff out there, like surprisingly unique magnetic tools. For example, the magnetic water bottle top that Ara just showed off, that I've never, is it meant to be like, it's meant to hold your phone? That's not like just a coincidence that it's the perfect size and shape. That's crazy. So for the audio listener, it's a water bottle with the top.
Oh no, not even the water bottle. This is just a replacement lid.
Oh,
this
just a replacement lid. Interesting.
This is a water bottle I got at Disney back in 22. But yeah.
Where'd you get the lid?
Amazon.
Interesting.
Because the bottles this specific bottle that Disney had, this style of it, used the same threading on their lids as Hydro Flask. So any Hydro Flask lid would work. Flask wide mouth lid would work on it, which meant that you had a ton of options when I unfortunately cracked the original lid on this one. And I went through like 4 or 5 lids before I finally found this one because it's Florida, and if there's any amount of water like super like immediately next to the top of the cap, it's going to sweat, and that's just going to make your bag soggy and filthy. And this one, because it is thick and doesn't have like one of the spouts, it doesn't leak at all, or it doesn't sweat at all, which is wonderful.
I can honestly say I've never seen an accessory like this. It's kind of a really clever idea, because I don't know if you're just out, right? And obviously you live by Disney World. You are a Disney World fan and are often at the parks, for listeners who maybe don't know. But like the idea of just like being like, well, no, I always have my water bottle with me, but also it's a phone stand whenever I need it to be. I mean, like I can think of so many places where that would like fit my life in travel and in work, and like, like I had never thought of something like that. Well,
and like what I love about it, especially when I'm out at the parks too, is like, since you're putting it on the water bottle, it elevates it up so you're not hunched down looking over your phone as much. So it's at a more comfortable head height.
Yeah. It's even, you're right, because it even lifts it up higher than like a normal. I mean, the amount of times I've had like a magnetic phone stand on my device, but still I end up putting it on top of, I'm cooking or something, and I put it in a shelf or on top of, the container of flour that's on the counter or something, right? Because you want it to be higher and more eye level. That's really smart. And I have honestly never seen anything. I've never seen anybody use it. And like, I didn't even know it existed. And now listener, we're all learning together.
This exact one isn't available anymore. The brand that makes it does sell. They sell the lid with a water bottle attached.
Okay, there you go. Then, but you can still get something similar to it.
But yeah, you can definitely find these. There's a number of water bottles that have the rings built in now, and then there are some companies that make like Hydro Flask and Yeti lids with it. Because the first one of these that I bought, I thought was for a Hydro Flask, and it was actually for a Yeti. So I got it in. It looked perfect, and then it didn't fit.
I have a couple that I want to show you, Ara, because I think they're fun. And I'm gonna write something about this too. But UAG sent me a handful of their latest like magnetic accessories. Some of them are pretty basic, right? This is like a very, very standard magnetic ring that, right? But they have one that is very similar to it that I've not seen before. And maybe I'm slow to the uptake, but I thought this was a really clever idea. Same idea, right? But you'll see that it's wider, and it's because one side of it is to fit onto the phone itself,
And the other side fits onto the MagSafe accessory.
Well, no. It's magnet. Both sides are magnetized, so you can stick it onto any magnetic surface. So the immediate thing I thought of was like working under a car. You could like slap your phone up. You like magnetize it on the one side with the sand, the other side to the bottom of your car, and have like a YouTube video, a diagram, the manual like on your phone screen, like whatever you need to have, it would be right there for you. It's not that much thicker than the other ring.
I saw that and it screamed golf cart to me, mostly because
sure.
Rock form.
Oh, rock form, yes.
Yeah, because they have the strongest magnets you have ever freaking seen. Like,
rock forms are nuts. Yeah, they will not move.
Thankfully, this one didn't fully align, because once you get it fully aligned, like I'm going to spend like 5 minutes trying to get this back off. Well, I actually have nails right now. It's so nice. I actually haven't been biting my fingernails.
Just mostly making sure that when I hold up this wallet in a moment, none of the numbers are showing on any of my cards. Okay, we're good. UAG also sent me, and obviously I've got a bunch of MagSafe wallets around. This is the first one I've had that has been like it actually opens up and has like additional pockets inside, as opposed to just being a sleeve. Because these are usually just sleeves for cards. And I was pretty happy to see like, I can actually like keep my license, in this pocket and not have to worry about it, or keep my payment cards in the outside. And, I have like a library card. Join your local library. I have a library card in this pocket. Like it works out really well. So
get a library card for Libby, if nothing else.
Exactly. 100%. Again, yeah. So lots of like clever, and yeah, I have a Peak Design one here that's a little more of a standard. You can slide it open and grab your cards or whatever. But there we go. There's an open one.
I'm trying to remember if this one was a power bank or if this one was just an ear tag, but it definitely has something like power signal on the inside.
Oh, clever.
Yeah. Super, not super thin, obviously, but they're helpful. I will say I'm not a big fan of MagSafe wallets, if for no other reason than even if you try to use these as a grip, most of the time, unless I have something like the Pop Wallet grips that are MagSafe, I'm like, that would be the closest I could come. But because the magnets aren't built into the phone, they're only built into the case. They're weaker. So I don't trust a wallet on the back of my phone yet. And that's going to hopefully change whenever I can get a phone with Qi2 built in, which is part of why I still kind of want a Pixel, on top of that being that's what the better deal at AT&T right now is going to be for me.
I'll tell you, it's a good phone, and the Pixel 10 deals are pretty good this year. I will say it's not this. It's at least the MagSafe wallets I've tried. It's got kind of that same problem as like the iPhone, especially if you are using the regular Pixel 10, which is glossy. It's just it does slide. If you grab, I have the official Google case, and it's just because it's rubberized, it's so much more stable. It doesn't have that space for you to grip the phone, so it's not gonna, but like this UAG one, for example, is like, so like the texture is like so grippy that it's actually not bad. I will say though, 95% of the time that I'm carrying around a MagSafe wallet, it's usually actually just in my other pocket, and not because I just don't want to risk it. Like if I'm pulling my phone out of my pocket, it's probably going to be fine getting pulled out. I have had it happen before where you like go to slip your phone in your back pocket, and that wallet just slips right off, gets caught on the lip of your jeans pocket or something. It just falls on the ground, and I don't want to lose my wallet.
I have another reason for not using the wallet, and that's because I wear this, if you remember it.
Yeah, of course. That's much handier.
I need a new one. I need a new one of these so bad. Yeah. But
for the audio listeners, it's like I guess what would you? It's just a cross body fanny pack, basically, I guess.
This is the Phonester X from AGE. If they were still in business, I would be buying another one, but I haven't been able to make contact with them since the Crimea invasion happened. On one side of this is a shoulder holster. On one side of the shoulder holster is a pouch with just a magnetic clasp at the top. And I just slide my phone in, and then it has, I like the elastic straps, which make the X thing on it, because I can slip like a eyeglass cleaning cloth, or if I'm at an event at the parks, like I was at the Not So Scary Halloween party a couple of weeks ago, and I just stuck the map in here because I didn't have really a whole lot of room in my pockets, and it was able to hold on to the map because so long as my phone was in there, there was enough tension with the elastic to keep it in place. And then the other side is basically a little miniature purse. Again, the
nice
eyeglass case just resting in the leather.
Yeah.
And then
that's awesome.
it just has enough room for wallet, keys,
it's got everything.
Keys. Yeah. And one of my more important things, which was an accessory I was going to talk about later, which is instead of potentially buying them a tech accessory, if you don't know if they have earplugs, please buy them some, because it's increasingly loud outside and hearing protection is absolutely essential.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I keep those are loops, right?
Yeah, these are the loop.
Yeah.
The loop switch, because they're the ones that have the adjustable. Yeah, no.
Oh, nice.
I absolutely adore them, especially at the park, because that means that I can turn it up more if I need to like block out a ridiculous crowd, and then I can turn it down so that way I can like hear conversations around me more when I'm actually with people.
That's not I have just like, I think it's just the basic, whatever the basic entry level loop is. But I keep those in my backpack for travel, and then just I grab them when I am going to a concert, basically. But for travel, it's always nice to have. You never know. You never know when you might need earplugs. They're not bad to have. Yeah. Okay. Really quick, I wanted to talk one last Qi2 accessory, and then maybe we can open it up a little bit more to end the show. But batteries have gotten really good over the last like year. We're still looking at pretty low capacities of like 5,000, milliamp per hour batteries, but they've cut the size in like half. So this is another UAG one, but I've also used I've used the OnePlus makes one that is about the same thickness as this. And the only reason I don't have it on me is because I loaned it to my sister like 4 days ago.
And you think you're going to see it again. That's cute.
Well, her phone is on its last legs, and so she needed an emergency battery, essentially. Yeah. So I gave it to her. But, you're still not going to get an entire day's worth of charge out of this, but I can tell you, this one in particular, I used recently to get I forgot to charge my Pixel overnight, and I got from like 40% to up to like, I think it died around 85. So like you're good for the day probably. And it's so much slimmer than the even a year ago, the batteries that we were seeing, that it doesn't feel like a cumbersome piece of tech to just kind of slip into your backpack or pocket or whatever if you think you might need an extra boost of battery life. I was telling you, Ara, before that I'm headed to CES this year, and I have not made a decision on whether my daily driver will be the Pixel 10 or the OnePlus 15 for its insane battery life. But I can tell you, if it's the Pixel 10, this thing will be with me at all times, because the Pixel will probably need it.
Well, I hope that. Did Pixel fix their thermal issues with the 10? Because I know that previous Pixels have always been like super heating up, but that's another part of the reason that I've like somewhat turned off of them when I'm buying a new phone in Florida, where it's hot most of the year.
Yeah. To a point.
I love that.
I cannot promise a Florida resident that the phone will not feel hot in the Florida sun.
Well,
it
everything
is definitely
will get warm in the Florida sun.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's going to make itself warm.
Compared to your Pixel 7 that you're currently using, you will notice a big jump. I don't know if it was what a lot of people wanted Tensor G5 to be when they heard that it was they were switching to TSMC as their foundry. But it's certainly, I haven't had the phone get super hot on me, but I'm also on Wi-Fi 98% of the time. So keep that in mind. But even during setup, I was lucky that I just didn't really have any like major overheating issues. But I have heard from other people that they've had their phones get not like roasting hot, but certainly warmer than maybe your average, Qualcomm powered device. So luck of the draw, maybe. And also where you live, and you live in a very hot and humid environment.
Yeah. I will say it was cold the night that we went to the Very Merry Christmas party, and the Pixel 7 was actually a little bit of a help with that, because we kept going around playing Pokemon Go, and that warmed up the phone just enough.
It's pulling double duty as a hand heater. Yeah, you're just keeping your hands warm.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple more questions maybe on the way out.
Sure.
So, yeah, I don't know. Let's talk Black Friday a little bit. If you were going to tell people one accessory to buy, anything, and maybe not specifically, but maybe something they haven't thought about buying in the past, something like your water bottle, mount, like what would you push people towards?
Well, I would definitely push them. If the thing about this is you would have to buy the water bottle with the thing incorporated into it, because you don't know exactly what water bottles they use.
Yeah, it's much safer to actually do that.
Unless you know that they had a water bottle that they absolutely adore, like mine, because this has been my water bottle. This has been my Parks water bottle for 3 years now.
Yeah,
I think 3 years. But I will say, on top of the loop earplugs, because the earplugs are something that they're not they're expensive enough that they will feel like a proper gift, but they're not too expensive to where they'll feel like an actual burden.
The cheaper ones are like a great stocking stuffer, I would say too.
Yeah, and especially since Loop usually runs a like either buy one get one half off or buy one get one free kind of a deal. But on top of that, I will say, if they have a MagSafe phone, pop sockets are love, pop sockets are life, and more importantly, pop sockets will save your freaking hand. I say this as a power phone user. My left pinky is absolutely furious with me most of the time, and it's for two reasons. Pinky propping my phone when they were smaller, and from doing an arduous amount of Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V whenever I was at the TV station and having to do football spreadsheets, because you were just constantly copying, pasting values, and then copying, pasting images in there. Yeah.
It's a lot of, and it's going to depend on your hand size. So like maybe, some of the men out there, or if you just have larger hands in general, are not going to. But if you know that they don't like pop sockets, I will say there's other kinds. This is Clicker, and I love it because it's like primarily a kickstand as opposed to just a phone grip. Because when it's not clicked into the kickstand, it's like I can slide all of my fingers in here. I really swear by, and I talked about them, but like any of the ring shaped, that fold flat, they're usually metal, and they have all sorts of like, they usually have a ring in the middle, and then it can fold out and act as a stand. It can act as a vertical and horizontal stand usually. I have found those to be a little bit more appealing to me than pop sockets, but they're not going to be as visually unique as a pop socket, right? Like you held up some of your examples, and obviously they have many branded partnerships. Exactly. I see a Mickey. I see, is that the Beauty and the Beast rose? I think that's Bulbasaur.
I have a number of them.
Yeah. So you can find something that either you or somebody that you're shopping for likes. There's Batman from earlier. It's a good way to like lean into their interests, somebody's interest that you're shopping for, while also getting them a thing that they might find useful. And they're expensive, similar to the Loop earbuds or earplugs. Actually, their pop sockets are expensive enough that they are kind of like a thing that if you buy it for somebody, it might not be something they want to go out and buy for themselves, but they're going to be gracious that you got it for them, and simultaneously you're not breaking the bank on a gift. It's just they're always in that like 30-ish, especially the magnetic ones, $30-ish
the magnetic ones range from like 30 to 45 depending on if it's a licensed one,
which can be expensive like compared to other options. I will say, if you buy them buy them a MagSafe one, if they don't like the top, it's just as simple as twisting it off and popping on another one. Yeah. Okay. I actually didn't know you could do that. That's good to know.
This is an Animal Kingdom pop socket that glows in the dark that
nice.
I popped onto this one because this one came with the pink Lotus one originally. Yeah.
Nice.
No, being able to that's which is another thing that like they did the twist off things before they went MagSafe, but it's just so much easier now because it's like, okay, you can get a base and like if you get a base in like a neutral, if you get it, like pink is relatively hard to match to. I have the light green one is one I got with the Bulbasaur one, but and then you have like this yellow transparent Batman one, which would be hard to like match other things to, but like blue and black are so easy that if you buy one that has a semi-neutral base and then has a fun pop socket on top of it, even if they don't necessarily like that particular design, it's still something that they can use and something they can make their own.
Yeah, it's like a great, I don't know, it feels like it will fit everything.
It's fun, sort of functional.
I was just about to say, it's like a more functional version of like a Funko Pop, right? It's very like, it's similarly priced. It's got lots of similar partnerships with brand iconography, but instead of being something that you're going to put on a shelf, it's like something that will be on the thing that is in your pocket at all times and will give your phone some utility too. And if you have a big phone, it will make it easier to hold. So yeah, I like that idea. I actually, that might be just like a fun little, like, get your friends a pop socket. Why not? Like that's like such an easy, like, no brainer gift that I think most people would enjoy.
And it's also just one of those things, especially if like I have small hands. That's part of why I use smaller phones. The pop sockets make it easier. Like if I'm using the phone with a different kind of grip, or I don't have a grip on it at the moment, reaching from the bottom of the screen all the way up to the opposite corner is just like my right thumb right now is not super happy with me for doing that a lot yesterday. But phone grips are something that I have preached since before MagSafe was a thing, and they are
only
very,
gotten better.
very helpful.
Yeah. The I feel like the move to MagSafe and to Qi2 and Pixelsnap and all of this has just made it easier to adopt these, because I'll from my personal experience, I didn't start using any sort of like grip or stand or anything until I had devices with magnetic cases, because I didn't want the extra bulk. Exactly. Yeah. But now it's a thing where it's like, well, yeah, I mean, why not have a handful of these in a drawer somewhere? Because even if I don't use them every day, there will be a day where it's like, oh, I need to prop my phone up. Let me go grab one of those magnetic phone, accessories that I have, and you're good to go. And, the prolification of Qi2, hopefully, as we move into 2026, will just mean that like these accessories will just keep fitting on the devices that on your future devices, right? Like, sure, it works with your Pixel 10 now, but you're good. When you get your Pixel 13 in 3 years, you're good. Yeah. So I think that's very pro-consumer in a way, these magnetic accessories.
I have one last magnetic accessory, and then I have one non-magnetic accessory that I do want to talk about. And the first one being that I know that there's a crap ton of like Qi2 and MagSafe magnetic pucks that you can like buy for your phone. Most of them come with the cable built in. I would recommend trying to find one that doesn't, because this one just has a USB-C port on it, so I can use whatever cable I want. So like my laptop is plugged into a USB-C cable right now, and I'm going to unplug that very quickly. And now I can just plug it in this side and charge. And that means that I can use a cable of any length. This is a 10-foot USB-C cable. So that means I have a much farther tether while still being able to keep my phone powered. So I definitely like ones that are like this. This one is, oh God. I'll put the actual link in a thing for you, Will, but
please do.
Yeah, because I need like ESR makes a couple of them, but they're like ESR made my previous favorite one, but that one was metal and glass, so it would heat up. This one is a plastic body, so that way it doesn't get warm nearly as quickly.
Smart.
And because it's because this one is a little bit more like bumped out, it has more room inside to help like hold or dissipate the heat, which is helpful. This one also, the second thing here is an Apple Watch charger. Not that does me any good.
But it's there. It's there and handy.
But it's there. I will say, though, if you're going to buy something like this for somebody, make sure it's Qi2 and not just MagSafe. Because a lot of the older stuff out there is going to say, like, for MagSafe and Qi2, but it's just MagSafe. And you want it to be something that's Qi2 so that way it's compatible with everything. And you either want to look for the 15-watt minimum. If you can find ones with 25, that would be great. But 25 is still relatively new.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's you're not going to find a ton of accessories. Maybe not yet. We've seen the iPhone move in that direction, so they're coming if they're not already available. I actually feel like that will be a big CES trend is a lot of fast magnetic accessories, 25-watt magnetic accessories. What's your last accessory, Ara?
This is going to feel really, really weird to say, but it is a USB-C cable, but it's a right angle ended USB-C cable, which is always helpful because if somebody isn't using MagSafe charging, it's nice to be able to like plug it into the bottom, and then you can still like use the phone normally and like set it down against things. I use one of these I have one of these at my bedside, so that way I can like still prop my phone up on my chest while I'm doom scrolling at 3 a.m. Yeah. So they're very, very handy. I'm not going to recommend a specific brand for these because there's a number of them out there. I really wish more name brands, like I wish Anker would make one of these, but they don't really. The last time I saw a right angle USB cable from them, it was USB-C to USB-A. I will say Anker does some good cables for travel, especially this is their bio-braided one, and the cable wrap with it is much better than most of the ones I've seen.
Yeah.
Especially if you're the type who like doubles up your cables like I do instead of just having them in the single coil. Because I just find that single coil just always ends up like unraveling. So there's a little tight knot where the where the cable tie is, and then the rest of it is just unspooled in the bag.
Yeah. It's a massive world of accessories out there, and it's only getting bigger. I want to leave with this. Where do you see, maybe I sort of just prompted this, but what do you see the accessory market turning into, in 2026 and beyond? Where do you see accessories headed, especially on the Android side of things?
I'm really hoping that on the battery side of it, we start getting into the silicon carbon batteries instead of just lithium air, because I know that was rumored for the Galaxy S26, but where we really need those is the aftermarket batteries, because those tend to be left alone for a really long time. And I have a feeling that the silicon carbon batteries are going to be more forgiving of being left alone than the lithium ion batteries have. I'm happy to see that more and more companies, like almost everybody, has jumped on the magnetic bandwagon. I'd really love to see now with Qi2 that I want to see the death of standard non-magnetic wireless chargers, because they're inefficient.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
They're inefficient, they're hard to align, and if you're they're not compatible with magnetics. So you need to be a good non-magnetic wireless charger will detect that there's metal there and stop. A bad wireless non-magnetic charger will keep charging anyway, which could heat up the magnets and heat up your phone to a disastrous degree. So I want to see those replaced by magnetic. I want to see this replaced by Qi2 chargers across the board. I really want to see Qi2 overtake MagSafe as the terminology for all of this is the real thing, because so long as
that might be a pipe dream.
It might. But Qi2 is going to be the overarching theme now, because Qi2 is MagSafe.
It's on the iPhone.
It's whatever the hell Samsung is going to call it.
Galaxy Click. I don't know. It's just coming up. Galaxy magnets. I don't know. See,
I'm seeing that with the Samsung Click with a Q.
Oh, God.
And having the Q be the actual like magnets.
Bixby Snap. I don't know. Just making shit up at this point. Oh boy.
I would also like to see a little bit more smart home integration stuff in the upcoming year. That wouldn't necessarily be accessories, but one of the biggest upgrades I've made to my home this year was I added smart curtain rollers. Basically, they attach to my existing curtain rod and they move my curtains out. So that way, in the morning, I go from darkness to sunshine and actually like wake up instead of just, my alarm goes off, my lights turn on dimly in my room, and I just sit on my phone for an hour and a half. Yeah. So
I have looked at those. I've wanted those so bad. So I've thought about getting those just for like, when we travel, obviously the curtains are pulled shut. And it's like, oh, but my poor cats, they love the sun so much. They're expensive. Those things are expensive. Yeah.
They are. I think mine were $65 a piece. And
it's
then
a lot of money. You have to have the hub. You have to buy the individual pieces. It adds up quick.
I ended up buying a kit with the hub and one of them. And then after I had one of them, I bought a second one. So that way I could do two. The curtains,
exactly.
Instead of just having the one curtain that went all the way to the side and then all the way back, because it was like stretching the edge of the if I only have one carton there, was stretching the edges of it. So it's very useful when it works. I just have to remember to charge it, and I have had a horrible time waking up in the morning because the last 2 weeks the batteries in them had been dead, and I didn't notice it first. So they're both
gonna be too much.
sitting on my desk. They're both sitting on my desk. They just need to go back up because they've fully recharged at this point. But it's such a quality of life thing. If I could, I would have the solar panel attachment for them. But since I have the curtains and then the blinds, if you really want it, like, if this is a house that you own, and I believe it is, I would recommend instead of doing the curtains, have the
blinds that go up and down. Yeah. It's the issue is, you know, the front window. Our front window is large enough that it doesn't really fit blinds. That one has to be curtains, and that's the one of all of them. That's the one I would want to move.
Most systems have, if not both styles, then at the very least they have things that can interconnect the two. And if nothing else, there's always Matter in Google Home or Apple or Samsung, whatever you have. Hooray for Matter and interoperability.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Okay, awesome. Ara, I feel like I've learned so much about accessories that I didn't know. And with a month and change to go till Christmas when this comes out. I think it's going to be like just over 4 weeks when this drops. So thank you for teaching both myself and the audience.
5 weeks. It'll be just over 5 weeks from when this drops. Yeah.
Ara, where can people find you?
I haven't been as active as I should be, considering I am actively looking for work. But I am
hire Ara. If you're hiring, hire Ara.
Yes, I love writing editorials. I love writing reviews. Yeah. I am a Chromebook evangelist. I love Wear OS, and I know that makes me weird. But I really miss writing editorials because they were really fun.
Yeah.
But I'm mostly active on Threads. I need to be posting more actual tech stuff and not just a ton of like Disney and anime and pop culture. But it's also like getting close to the holidays, and we all need stress relief.
Absolutely. This is the wind down period before things really start kicking off in January. But awesome. Ara, we will have you on again to talk about accessories and much more. There is Chromebook news coming next year with their transition to Android. So we might have you back on to talk us through that.
Oh yeah. I don't know if that's going to be I don't know if that's going to be January or later, but I'm very much looking forward to it because January is traditionally like the big month for Chromebooks because that's when they have they have an educator summit that I believe either late January or early February. And because that's where a bunch of education things happen, that also where Chromebook stuff happens because Chrome is primarily geared towards enterprise and education.
Absolutely.
So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, then we will have you on to talk about that because I think 2026 is going to be crazy for Chrome OS. So that's a tease of a future episode to come. But for now, thank you all for listening. You can find me on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Threads, although I don't post very much on any of them. And when I am, I'm usually yelling about the Buffalo Bills' terrible performance against the Houston Texans on Thursday Night Football. I don't want to. It's too raw as we're recording this. It's too raw. I'm not ready to talk about it.
Hey. It could be worse. You could be a Cowboys fan.
I could be a Cowboys fan, and I am not. You are right. Yeah, no, that is
my apologies to my brother-in-law.
God, one of these days, people listening to the show are going to fight me about talking about football, but it hasn't happened yet. You can find me. You can find me on social media. We are not doing an episode next week because I don't want to have to chase down someone to record during Thanksgiving week. So we will be back December. I think that puts us at December 8th with our next episode. So keep an eye out for that. And until then, thank you all for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.